You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go. When the Iron Lady sings, that means it's official. Welcome to the big show, my family and friends. We certainly appreciate you being part of the show. As always, for 15 years, going on 16 years, we bring you all the smartest people, all the greatest authors, Pulitzer Prize winners, the CEOs, the billionaires, the astronauts, the folks who work for a large government, the White House, et cetera, et cetera. All the people who bring you the things they've learned over a lifetime, they bring it to this beautiful concentrate we call the Chris Voss Show that gives you the most smartest ideas, concepts, ways to solve your problems, the stories, the owner's manual of life. And we call that the Chris Voss Show glow that you end up walking away from. So please share the glow. Refer your friends to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, the big LinkedIn newsletter, the 130,000 group on LinkedIn, and all the other places that we have. We have the author of the newest book that will be coming out next year called Nobody's Sleeping: 7 Proven Sleep Strategies for Better Health and Happiness. Dr. Bijoy John is on the show with us today, and he's going to be talking about his book, what goes in it, and what he's learned over the years that he can help all of us with. He's a board-certified practicing sleep specialist physician. He calls himself Dr. Sleep Fix. His aim is to heal the world by teaching folks how to sleep better, and he wants everyone to discover or reclaim the superpower of sleep. I love sleep. He is the founder and medical founder of Sleep Wellness Clinics of America and Sleep Fix Academy, offering various resources to help folks to sleep better. Sleep is vital to help with mental and emotional and physical well-being. His book, which is trending #1 on Amazon, teaches folks the 7 proven sleep strategies for better health and happiness. It's available on pre-order, and there he is to promote his life-changing book and to teach your audience how to sleep better. Welcome to the show. How are you, Doctor?
Thanks, Chris. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you as well. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
www.sleepfixacademy.com and www.sleepwellnessinfo.com.
There you go. So give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside the book.
So, growing up, we all have trouble sleeping. We pick up habits that we think are good, but eventually it kind of erodes into that good sleep practices, and those are the rituals I call the bad sleep habits that people pick up. I've discovered this habit of sound sleep from a very young age. My mom taught me that. So I'm able to get, sometimes we fall off the horse, but I'm able to get back on it, right? So life happens to all of us as business leaders, owners, and, as growing up, life happens, job. But then we will have a curveball, but we need to know how to get back on it. So in my practice, I'm seeing this, I call the sleep problem the new pandemic. That's why I wrote the title, Nobody is Sleeping. Everybody is, sleep deprived or walking with a sleep debt. So that can affect us in so many ways, our mental health, physical health, heart problem, diabetes, high blood pressure, you name it. Obesity, if you don't sleep well, you're going to eat the wrong diet. So it affects head to toe, everything. Cognition, is one of the treatable causes for Alzheimer's. So it affects everything. Yes. So
Alzheimer's.
Yeah. So I found the 7 proven sleep strategies, and I even have an acronym for that. It's called the Sleep Now. So that's, my own way of helping people to teach them to sleep better.
There you go. How does that acronym break down?
So Sleep Now. So the first S is the schedule. You have to have a schedule. Everybody asks me, what's the right schedule? I think the rough schedule is between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's what we need to dedicate. Life happens, you Friday night, Saturday, you party, but that should be your core. So the schedule is very, very important. We all have to have a schedule, right? So that's the one. The next in the acronym is the L. So low temperature in the bedroom should be low. The chemical hormone called melatonin that we secrete to help us sleep is only secreted in cold temperature and in darkness. So the
Oh, really?
bedroom. Mhm. So people in tropical climates, they don't sleep well. If you go on vacation to a tropical, well, your sleep is kind of, we crank up our AC, but it's not able to catch up. So it's 70, 72. So you will see that. So
Oh.
low, and also the hormone is only secreted in darkness. So low light, low temperature, that's the L, right? So we got the S, L. And the next is electronics, which is like a crazy thing that's going on. What happens is that we are so addicted. So people ask me, how do you know you're addicted? If you wake up in the morning and you're reaching out to your phone, the first thing, automatic, you are cell phone addicted, my friends. So that is.
And imagine the blue light's a problem, right?
Correct.
That comes off
Yes.
the cell phone.
Yes, the light from the phone, especially when you're in the bedroom where there's no ambient light, it goes straight to the brain and tells the brain, "Hey, it's still daytime. Let's not go to sleep." And
Morning, wake up.
yes, wake up. And then also I mentioned, the melatonin is only secreted in darkness, so we're not going to sleep. So everybody wants to turn off the phone and then go to sleep right away. It doesn't happen. So I tell people to have a cell phone free zone at least an hour prior to going to sleep, and keep your phone away from your bedroom or away from your bed, because you're going to look at it. There's going to be dings. There's going to be, and then you look up the time. Oh God, it's 3:00. Oh God, it's only 3:00. I can't sleep. I need to wake up. So I actually set an alarm and keep it in my bathroom. So literally I have to wake up. So this is the most important thing that we can do to help ourselves with our sleep.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know one of my problems is
Yes.
if I get up to pee in the middle of the night,
Yes. Yes.
I can't look at that phone. If
Well,
I turn that phone on,
it's
just
over.
to peek at it,
Yes.
I'm up.
That's
I'm
It's gone.
screwed.
Yes,
Yeah.
because your cognitive activity is increase, and you start thinking about the day and all those stuff. So if you don't have it by your side, that's great. So the next E is exercise. You have to exercise at least 4 hours prior to sleep, because exercise increases endorphins and cortisol, and also your heart. So I tell people, if you have the good time to exercise, perfect time is in the morning. But if you have to exercise in the evening, make sure you exercise at least 4 hours prior to going to sleep. So this is one of these this is one of the methods to calming your body before sleep. All right. Then we have to the P in sleep. So we are down to SLEEP. P is powering off your mind, which is actually the hardest thing. You can't power off your mind if you're on your phone, right? So you have to power off your mind. And also I tell people to practice some of the strategies is vivid imagination. So this is my own technique that I tell people who are suffering to have your own imagination. Watch a show, and then what happens, you do it on your bed, not think about bills and all that stuff. So you have your own imagination. And I also tell people to use something called yoga nidra. Nidra means nothingness. You just lay down in bed with your hands up. It's called the corpse pose. That's how, these are the two techniques I tell people to power your mind off. So this is great techniques. So you don't need you don't need a sleep coach. You don't need anybody. You just lay down in your bed with your heads up. It's called the corpse. You're like a corpse, so you lay down. So those are go ahead.
You just imagine they're dead, huh?
Yeah, that's it. So your mind is. So now we got the P. So we got to go now. So the NO I've combined together. So NO is no to worries, right? So you can't worry on your bed. So what I tell folks and clients who come and see me, you need to take a dedicated time. I use that 6 to 8 p.m. as my, worrying time and doing things. Chris is I'm going to be on the Chris show, show. I have to do everything before 8 p.m. I ain't doing everything. Even last night, I'm done at 8 p.m. So you have to have a dedicated time. So if you're not able to do things, you write it down and then you do it the next day, right? So so this is a great technique that works for all of us. And then the last one is W. This is one of those things you have to win by losing yourself. In life, we're always like, energy, do this, do that. But for sleep, that's one thing in your life you have to pull back and relax, simplify your regimen, make it easy, make your life a little bit easier. So that's what I tell. So sleep now, you got the schedule, low temperature, the exercise, the electronics, the powering off, no to worries, and then win by taking your schedule easier. So those are my 7 sleep strategies, or the acronym SLEEP NOW.
So I have one of those warming beds. It's called the 8 sleep bed. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I turn it up and it warms me up, and sometimes a little too cozy, but evidently I need to run it cooler because what you
Exactly.
can do,
Yes.
I can run cold in it if I want, but it's winter time, man. You want me to freeze my butt off while I wait for that melatonin to kick in?
Yeah, that's one of those things. So there is also, the truth is always in between. In this process of writing and doing my research, if you do the sauna, your temperatures increase, and there's this other hormone called oxytocin that is kind of released in hot.
Yeah.
So some people, that's what some people like, that feeling of hotness. You take a hot shower and go to bed. So not all people are the same. So you have to try that. There is also truth to the sauna. If you spend like 30 minutes, 3-4 hours prior to going to sleep, and in your case, the warmth might be able to increase the other hormone that is also putting you to sleep. So you can't, paint a broad brush on everyone. So there could be some, but in generally, cold temperature is the best to sleep.
Wow. That's really interesting to know. Maybe
Yes,
I'll have to
Chris.
play with starting out cool and on my sleep, because my sleep aid bed will go both ways. You can make it really icy cold, which is nice for if you've gone for a workout. But I didn't know that it's the coldness that makes the difference. What about circadian rhythms? We've had some of the doctors on and talked about how you need to maintain your circadian rhythms in the morning and night so that your body wants to fall asleep. Is there any truth to that in your mind?
Great question. Circadian rhythm. Our body is reacting to light. We are all creatures to light. If you have a small child that wakes up to the, wake up, crack of dawn, right? We're all rotating around the light. Circadian rhythm is that, our body's response. So we have two things that does to you. There are times that we are the most awake. There are times when we are vulnerable and sleepy, all right? So the most time we are awake is 7 a.m. and the most time we are awake is 7 p.m. Same thing. That's why in the evening shows are called prime time. Everybody's, because we are at our best at these 7 a.m., running to the 7 a.m. meeting and, watching TV at 7 p.m. And we are most tired at 2:30 in the afternoon and 2:30 in the 2:30 in the morning. Maximum accidents happens on the road at 2:30 in the morning, and same thing around 2:30 in the afternoon. Have you ever gone to a meeting at 2:30 in the p.m.? Wonder why?
Yeah.
All over the world, people have siesta or they break for tea time. I even see, my favorite football team plays in the third quarter. I call it in my book. If I sent you a chapter, it's called the third quarter slump. So it is the natural body. The reaction time is not, the defense and the offense are not performing well at that time. So I'm the first one to call this out. Here we go.
There you go. And people are sometimes like, hey, that does explain a few football games I've seen.
Yes.
In your book, you talk about all these different elements and helping people and stuff. What do you do inside of your practice that when people go to your website and work with your practice, what do you do to help them over there?
So I have my own clinic. So that's the Sleep Wellness Clinics of America. So I founded that to help patients. I'm in Tennessee, so people come and see me in the state here. So I see patients. There are two types of sleep problems. Are simple but complicated. There are two types of sleep problem. One is either I sleep too much or I cannot sleep, right? So or I simplify it by, are you worrying or are you snoring, right? So when you're worrying, you have insomnia. When you're snoring, you have sleep apnea. So that's the broad criteria. So most of the people, adults, do have the serious condition called sleep apnea, where you're snoring, you're tired, your brain doesn't get the rest. So folks come to me in my office, and I do a home sleep testing. Everybody's afraid to go to the lab, so I pioneer home sleep testing for the last 5 years.
Really?
Yes, they take a kit. It's like a watch-like device. They take the kit and they go home the same day, and then they come back tomorrow and they wear it the comfort of their home, and then you can able to get the results. And so that's it. And the insomnia is the difficulty in sleeping. So I teach the people my proprietary Sleep Now concept, so that's it. So then I said, how can I reach more people in a wider audience all over the world? So I started this company called Sleep Fix Academy, www.sleepfixacademy.com. So where you will have the resources to podcasts, resources to sleep assessment, sleep journal, and I'm also developing a Sleep Now course. So all those things are available for the general public to have at it.
There you go. And it's sleepfixacademy.com.
Correct.
There you go. It's great to have all these resources. How do you feel about these BiPAP machines and sleep apnea and stuff. I mean,
Great.
mhm.
So the gold standard treatment for sleep apnea is the use of CPAP. This continuous positive airway pressure. Your back of your throat just collapses, the tongue falls back, and so we have to push it out. That's the CPAP. BiPAP is a little bit a different algorithm where some folks cannot breathe out, so you put them on a double pressure. The bi is the double pressure. I also use in folks who have breathing problems. So that's the CPAP and BiPAP. So the good news is those are not only the options. Today we have oral appliances to pull the jaw forward. We have something called Excite OSA. It's a device you keep on your tongue when you're awake, strengthens the tongue so it doesn't go back. Then there's an
Really?
implantable device called Inspire, which pulses the tongue to get out. So we have all this new technology that's available for the treatment of sleep apnea.
Wow. What is the deal on sleep apnea? Am I really going to die or be brain dead if I don't? Because the way some of my friends sell it to me, they have the BiPAP, what I call the Darth Vader machines, and they tell me that I'm basically going brain dead slowly, which I think it's pretty evident that's happening, or I'm going to just die in my sleep one night, and I'm just like, actually, it's not a bad way to go when you really think about it.
Yes.
Like I'm not going to, if I do die in my sleep, it's not like I'm going to be really aware of it at the time. I
Correct.
don't know. So what's the skinny on that?
All right. The word is obstructive sleep apnea. The tongue is literally obstructing your, back of your throat. So when air doesn't flow, the brain senses that and sends a chemical, just flight or fight response to wake you up. So even though you're sleeping 8 hours, you're not sleeping that deeply because you're awake constantly. So imagine, Chris, where you're climbing, steps. So what happens? The heart and the lungs work together. You're short of breath. Your heart speeding fast. But just imagine if your breathing is not higher, the heart has to beat faster, right? So that's the one that causes what we call the arrhythmias, and that's the number one cause of death in your sleep. So when you pause your breathing, the heart has to work faster, and then that can trigger an arrhythmia. That's the cause of sudden death in most folks who die in their sleep.
Oh man, recently I've been having a thing that I've noticed is sometimes when I get up in the middle of the night to go hit the restroom, I'm 55, so that seems to be happening a lot lately. And when I do, I kind of feel like my heart's racing a little bit, and maybe that's coming from that.
Correct. And one of the reasons why you use the restroom is, when you have an apnea, there's a negative pressure. So there's a lot of fluid comes into the heart, and the heart gets panic and sends an hormone to help to get rid of the fluid that's coming in. So that's why you pee. So one of the greatest the results of treating people with sleep apnea, the use of restroom reduces dramatically at night.
Holy crap.
Yes.
That explains why I'm peeing like 5,000 times a night. Keep waking up.
Because the apnea triggers flow of blood more blood into the heart, and it's trying to save you.
I'm just going to muzzle myself when I go to bed. I'm just going to, what's that, chloroform? I'm just going to chloroform myself to sleep. So let me ask you this. Have you seen this new thing that I've seen on like TikTok and stuff where people tape their mouth shut? Oh, have you seen that? They actually make like Band-Aids for your mouth, basically.
That's a great question. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's non-experts trying to say something. So imagine, all right, the best way to breathe is through your nose. That's perfect. So if you are a perfect healthy person, if you close your mouth, you're going to breathe through the nose. Humidification happens, everything is great. But why are you opening your mouth at night? Because you're suffocating, you want to get the breath, you're opening your mouth, and imagine you putting a tape on their mouth at this time, you're going to choke and die. So the mouth tape is excellent for young, healthy people who open their mouth, but it's not good for people who have lung problem, heart problem, or if you're suffering for sleep apnea, you are struggling to breathe and you're opening your mouth to take the breath, and now you're closing your mouth with a tape. You're going to choke. Not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more worried about sucking that thing down and choking on it.
Correct.
The tape piece. I'm like, I don't know if I trust myself while I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Does weight really affect sleep apnea, or is it really just that tongue sliding back into the mouth?
So the weight is proportionally distributed all over the body. So as you gain weight, the back of your throat also, there's more fat. It narrows the back of the throat. So yes. So a 10% reduction in weight will help with your apnea. So weight gain is an absolute, treatable causes of obstructive sleep apnea. Yes.
That'll put my throat on a diet.
Yes. And also, poor sleep alters the leptin and the ghrelin hormones that make you more hungry and less hungry. Leptin lowers
Mhm.
your appetite and ghrelin increases your appetite. It's reversed when you don't sleep well. So by sleeping well, you will make better choices and your hormone
Mhm.
is regulated. So that'll curb your appetite.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I don't sleep well, I have a harder time with intermittent fasting, and I'll have a harder time with just everything, just to try and function and stuff. Well, this is really insightful. I've had friends that have the CPAP machines, but it doesn't work well for them. They don't sleep well with the Darth Vader mask
No,
on.
there's smaller masks. Now there's
Mhm.
software that recognizes your face, and there's something called Nasal Pillow you
Oh,
can put under
really?
the nose. Yes, a lot of new
Mhm.
technology, and the other technology I told you, the mouth, oral appliance, the Pulitzer jaw, the Excito, say the tongue device. So there are a lot of options, and sometimes there are three reasons. The way I approach folks not treating and not able to tolerate the CPAP is the mask the problem, is the pressure the problem, or the person the problem, right? So
Mm.
if I can adjust the pressure and all the other setting in the machine, if you can choose the right mask, folks will tend to do better, right? So
Mm.
if the person is the problem, that's a challenge, which can be the case. So if I eliminate the other two, then I have to work with the person and try to give them alternative treatments.
There you go. That's interesting. I had one friend who got the Inspire, the one
Yes.
put in the chest,
Hmm.
and even then he can't get that to work for him. I wonder if they're these people that are getting these machines, they're just still doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be done by an expert. I see those Inspire patients.
Well, I hope he had the Inspire done by an expert.
No, you have to dial it down and change things around, and then
Oh yeah.
we have to send them to the lab to make sure. Then we titrate the voltages. It's a great
What's
alternative
the
for treatment.
But you have to dial it in, huh? Make sure you get
Yes,
all the
yes.
updates from the Windows
Then we can
11
tell
on
them,
it and stuff.
yeah, we can alter the volts on this.
That's what I tease him about. I'm like, does that thing run on Windows 11? You might be screwed.
Yes.
But I don't know. I'll have to check in with him to see how things are going. Yeah, I was like, I don't think I want something put inside me that, I don't know if it knows it works or not. But and then there's the Darth Vader machine. I'm not sure that I could live with the Darth Vader machine. Maybe I just need to read your book and learn the techniques. And then I have heard about that thing that you can put in your mouth, and it's a jaw thing. I think we
Yes.
had somebody on the show about that, and it's the way your jaw sets.
Correct. It's called an
And,
oral appliance. You put
Mhm.
it and snaps and then pulls the jaw. It's only indicated for mild to medium. If you have severe sleep apnea, then
Mhm.
your choice is limited to CPAP or the Inspire. So you have to be
Mhm.
careful to pick the right people and what we need to use them for.
Yeah, I think it was a mouth guard that he puts in. It kind of
Correct.
looks like a retainer
Yes.
and stuff. And yeah, I'm just trying to get some damn sleep, man. That's
Yeah, it adds the treatment of sleep apnea will add 10 years to your life, because
really.
yes, yes. See, because when you're sleeping well, your blood pressure tends to lower at night, and everybody's blood pressure is high during the day because of hustling and doing things, but at nighttime you auto regulate and tries to go down. But without resting well, you're always under heightened, and the norepinephrine release is high, and then your blood pressure tends to be high, and the same response increases your blood sugar, and enough oxygen is not going to your brain. So earlier in the show I talked about Alzheimer's. One of the treatable causes is of dementia is treatment of sleep apnea.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I don't get my sleep apnea fixed, I'm going to be more demented than I already am. That's
Yeah,
probably not good.
not to mention the low libido. We didn't even go there.
Oh, really? It affects your libido, your
Correct.
sex drive, huh?
Yeah, the same thing, the same phenomenon. Less oxygen is going to your the reproductive organs, the testes.
Huh.
It narrows, and one of the common things I see men in my clinic is low testosterone, and one of the treatable causes for that is treating your sleep apnea, the same phenomenon.
Are you freaking kidding me? I just
Yes.
started testosterone treatment about a month ago.
Yeah, so you have all the symptoms. I'm giving you a diagnosis, Chris.
You're like telling me everything that's wrong with me at this point. Yeah, and I actually wasn't too low on my main testosterone. It was my free testosterone that was really low.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. But you figured out why I pee so many times a night, why I don't sleep, and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna put a 2 before in my mouth and just suck on it all night.
No, you just need to put one of those treatment that I mentioned. You have 4 treatments, Chris. You don't need. You have better treatment options than that.
Okay. All right. Well, I was going to go with the cheap 2 before version, but I think your idea is better. When people work with you, can they work with you, I guess, telemedicine? Can they work with you all over the nation? Do they have to come see you? How does that work?
That's the practice of medicine is license driven, and you have to be licensed in different states. But that's like I can't see anybody outside this states I have license in. So folks have to literally come here to see me. But that's why I decided the online people can do a lot of self-help by visiting my website and doing their trying to improve their sleep by themselves.
And then where are you located again, so we clarify that?
I'm in Brentwood, Tennessee.
And so people can fly there if they need to, and I guess consult with you, et cetera, et cetera. I notice you do a lot of things on the interwebs too. You've got an Instagram channel.
Yeah, all those are coming up new because I'm just starting this process. And before the book comes, you got to get all the channels ready. I'm right in the middle of it. And then this book took off, and then we are all scampering to do everything faster.
So there you go. Well, sharing the knowledge and sharing the love. What are some other tips about sleep or advice on sleep or thoughts on sleep that you want to share with the audience?
Some of the things I tell people is caffeine. Caffeine lasts for 6 to 2 hours, but some people can last up to 12 hours. My teenage girl, my daughter, she drinks at 8 p.m. Then she wonders she can't sleep. Hey, when did you have your macchiato? Hey, Dad, I had it at 9 p.m. Or wonder why? Duh. So I try to, if you have a problem, I try to tell them not to sleep. Take the caffeine. At least if you have a sleeping problem, I said to stop it by 12 noon to 1 p.m. So that's if you have a problem, sometimes you can, and then if you alcohol, what happens is plenty of alcohol metabolizes into something called a product acetaldehyde, which wakes you up. So that's what happens. Alcohol can put you to drown your brain, go to sleep, but then you later it metabolizes and wakes you up, and then alcohol also makes you pee, and then it's a diuretic. So now you're dehydrated. The chemical is working, and then that's a classic sign of the hangover, right? If you're going to have drinking, make sure you drink very, very early, that it washes out of your body, not like close to bedtime. So that so those are some of the things that I tell people. And also evening sunlight is good for you to help people to sleep better. The radiation or the gamma rays from the sun in the evening is very good for you to help with your sleep.
Wow, there you go.
Yes.
If you live in states where there's a lot of darkness, from overcast, and maybe you live in London or Seattle, are there ways that you need to try and augment that, where maybe get some light machines or something?
Yeah, there is those light box, so seasonal affective disorder is very common, and also folks have a delayed or advanced, problems with their clock. They go to bed later. Some people, go to bed earlier. So we can change all that. The major problem that we are having in this country is the daylight savings time. Remember that we lose a lot of sleep problems happen around the change, especially in fall when we lose time, so it gets darker, and,
I hate it.
Yes, a lot of accidents are happening, in the morning because it's still dark, and a lot of heart attacks and also happen during this time change because your circadian rhythm is altered by an hour, by 1 hour, and for our body to adjust naturally, it will take 1 day to adjust. So to answer the question, the darkness and all, it's a problem.
Yeah, it's still screwing me up. It just changed a month ago, a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And it's still screwing me up. Like, I'm just sitting there going, why is it dark outside? Is it 10 o'clock?
Correct.
It's 6 o'clock or something. And then in the morning, I'm like, where's the sun?
Correct.
And I just wish we quit that whole thing. It just mucks up everybody.
Yeah, we're trying our best. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine, and everybody's trying to petition. It's still in the Congress, but it's the Congress has other things to.
Yeah, well, they got to fight over, I don't know, some stupid crap. My understanding is I thought we decided to change that like in 2020 or something. And
still nothing is passed.
Nothing is passed.
Yes.
Like, who the hell is supporting not changing to?
So the main thing is in summer we have more time to shop. and
Yeah.
so that's the commercial industry is the one
Yeah,
that's
you think they'd be supportive of that? I don't know, man. It's a crazy world. So you recommend these therapies through your service, the Bipat machines. Do you do the stuff where they put the Inspire in people if
yeah.
they're interested in that?
Yeah, I work with the local surgeons here, the
Mhm.
ENT surgeons who typically do those.
Mm-hmm. So you don't do them yourself?
No, I don't.
Mhm.
I just take care of the before and after care. I program those
There you go.
in my office. Yes.
There you go. Now you have something on your site called the Excite OSA. What is that?
Oh, so that's the device, the tongue device that I told you about. It strengthens your tongue. So remember the tongue's the problem. It's like a tense unit to the tongue. It strengthens the tongue so it doesn't fall back. So that's the one of the it's been FDA approved for about 3 years. So
Really?
that's the first awake treatment when you are awake. You don't need to do it. You can be on your phone or your computer and do that.
Yeah, I'm seeing the pictures of it, and it looks kind of funny, actually, really.
Yes.
But hey, if it works, it works. So it's basically like a gym for your tongue, and
Correct.
get your tongue working out there.
Yes.
And I imagine Gene Simmons never has this problem, but that's another thing. Gene Simmons is the band Kiss, if you're familiar with his giant tongue. So this is really interesting. The Excite OSA, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then does that have to be clinically prescribed? I guess you just
Yes,
can't
all
give that
those. That's a those are durable medical equipment. It's prescribed by a physician. Yes.
It just exercises your tongue. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Just like if you work out your muscles stay in tone for about 12 hours. So the same technology. So the big muscle is called the genioglossus. It just strengthens and it doesn't fall back.
That is wild.
The CPAP pushes the tongue from the back end, by pushing air through it. So it's all about moving the tongue away from the back of the throat.
Yeah. I'm just going to sleep with one of those tongue depressors in my mouth the whole time. I don't know. It's funny. So these people that use this Excite, they don't have to sleep with that thing in their mouth. They can just use it before bedtime or
correct, or during the day. But it's only for mild, though. It's not for medium or severe. It's for snoring and mild sleep apnea, because there are other things that play. The back of the throat's more relaxed, so it does not work in moderate to severe sleep apnea.
So how did we? Tell me this. How do we live as a species for, I don't know, millions or billions of years, whatever the math is, and somehow in the last 20 years we all need these machines?
That's a great
Riddle
question.
me that.
Great question. In some cultures, snoring is considered a good thing. You're sleeping deep, right?
Yeah.
So but snoring is actually churning the blood and making it into micro droplets that can embolize. So snoring is churning. So as science evolves, we are able to learn more and more, right? And then, when you have sleep apnea, you're not sleeping well. The lack of sleep also affects all the parts of the body, like blood pressure, diabetes. So the awareness, the clinical research, and then, as a culture, as a society, we are also becoming more overweight and obese. If you look at the past, everybody.
That's true. We've been
correct.
We've been doing that for the last 20
The
years.
weight is a major problem too. So the weight, the awareness, and the implication of poor sleep on various, organs are the reasons why we are here.
Crazy. That is, well, a lot of stuff makes sense now.
Yes.
And it's everything's interrelated. Damn it. What a weird thing.
Yeah, sleep is a superpower. Once you do sleep, you get 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep, you can conquer the world. So, I want the world to discover that, we do go to the gym, we do this and that, we train our mind and body and, but if you can sleep well, you heal well, right?
That's
and
true.
Then you can do a lot more in the time you're going to be more productive.
What do you think about this? There's some people that have this argument that you only really need probably 7 hours of sleep. And then a lot of people are like, no, you need 8. Is there any merit to either one of those?
That's a great question. So some people are born with short sleep. They're short, sleepers, like, President Trump, President Obama, Elon Musk. Those people have a gift. They go into that solid sleep for the few hours. But most of us need at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep. So if you sleep, how to answer the question is, how do you feel like the next day? If you sleep 7 hours, do you feel great? Then 7 hours works for you. If you need But if you're needing more than 8 hours, then there is a problem. Then you have a sleep disorder or some other medical disorder that's causing you to to sleep more.
There you go. Well, I think President Trump's thing is Adderall, snorting Adderall, evidently, but that's a different story.
Yes.
And I'm not sure he sleeps whatever, considering he didn't show up in the Oval Office till like noon every day and left at 3 when he was in the golf course. But yeah, evidently there's a real snorting Adderall problem over there. I think it's family wide, from what I understand and from what I know of the family. So very interesting. And then your sleepfixacademy.com.
Mm-hmm.
Deals with all sorts of different variations and
available online access. People, everybody can go, and I have a lot of materials that you can learn from, podcasts, to study your sleep pattern, and also you can do the Sleep Now course if you want to take that.
Oh, there's a course on there. Cool.
Yes, it's coming up. It's all it's all cooking. It's probably there by the end of this month.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Sounds good then. Final thoughts as we go out, Doctor, and pitch out to everybody on how they can reach out to you and work with you.
Yes. I have the gift and the knowledge of sleeping well. I want to share it with everyone so that you can discover your own superpower, right? So I have devised the Sleep Now course and the Sleep Now acronym and the 7 proven strategies. I've written a book about it. I've been in practice for 25 years. So you can visit my website, www.sleepfixacademy.com, or my clinic, www.sleepwellnessinfo.com, to learn more. So sleep well, be well, and let's go sleeping.
There you go. Well, we've learned a lot. Thank you very much, Doc. We really appreciate having you on the show.
Chris, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. And thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places we're at on the internet. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. Order up the book wherever fine books are sold, or pre-order it right now. Nobody's Sleeping, 7 proven sleep strategies for better health and happiness. It sounds like some good ideas for me. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. Good night.